Hey, my name's Drew. I'm in MES 201 right now, and we're doing our final project for the semester. It's a design of experiment. So what we chose to do is we wanted to see an adhesive shear test. We tested 3 different types of adhesive, and we created a sample dog bone from the 3D printers. And this is a copy of it right here, created in SolidWorks, printed it out, and as you can see, we just took these 2 parts, stuck them together like this, and then we put it into the tensile tester. So the tensile tester pulls it apart, and once it pulls it apart, it goes over to the software, and we can see from the stress strain curve the max load that it can withstand in shear. And then we take that load and we put it into Excel, and we can analyze the data that way. So we had 2 different cases mainly. We had a case where the adhesive broke, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. It broke from the test part. And so from that we can actually test the adhesive strength. And then we had another case where the adhesive was so strong that it actually broke the part. And so you can see here where the plastic peeled right off of the part, and then some of the adhesive stuck to it as well. This is another good example of that, where the plastic just peeled right off. And so that's the top layer of the plastic from the 3D printer. And so that's a failed part. But there's 3 different types of adhesive that we use, and so from that we can say, well, this adhesive was so strong that it just straight up broke the part. And then this adhesive was a little weaker, but it was consistent, so it has less variability. And from that you can determine where a good application for different adhesives would be. If you wanted something to break at this max load, then you would use this adhesive. If you don't want it to break at all, use this adhesive. And so that's pretty much our project. And so that's the data that you're seeing right now.
So you saw Drew and he explained his experiment. What you're going to do is you're going to take some data from Drew's experiment and do some calculations on it, format it to look nice in order to help him with his experiment, and also to let you practice the skills that you just went over in that first Excel video. In that video, you watched me, you went along and you did it with me. For homework, you're going to take a problem and do it entirely on your own. So you see the spreadsheet behind me. This is the raw data that they recorded when they did their experiment. You see this first column B, that's how the part broke, whether it was the glue or the part. Drew talked about that. Then right here you see the run order. That's the order that they ran the part. So like this part was the first one they tested. This was the second part. That matters from a statistical standpoint that you'll learn about later in your engineering study. This right here was a type of adhesive. Remember he said they had 3 kinds of adhesive. So there's SG, PW was another type, VC was another type. And then the last thing is they recorded what they got off of the computer from the tensile tester when the part actually failed. So they reported the maximum shear load. And so that's that number right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to, right here on this sheet, you're going to take this and you're going to turn it into this right here. Now this sheet, I'm going to leave this in here, but this has no equations. This just has numbers in it where you're going to put equations. So for example, right here you see this average. If you click on it, oh, that's just a number. But what you're going to do is you're going to put an equation in there to calculate the average of all of these right here. In fact, let me come in. Give me just a second. Yes, I want this guy right here. Yeah. So this average, you're going to come in, and that average is going to be all those numbers right there. You're going to take the average of them, okay? The other calculation that you're going to add is right here. This says theoretical minus actual shear load. What that is he tested some parts. He 3D printed some parts exactly like you saw, except they were both together. So instead of 2 separate halves, he 3D printed them as one, and he pulled those to see if they weren't glued together, but if they were just solid parts, what would they hold? And that number was 477. So now what this column right here does is it says 477 minus that, 477 minus that, 477 minus that. So what that's doing is giving you an idea of how much lower did this thing break than the maximum, than the theoretical. If it was just as strong as a solid part, this number would be 0. So as you can see, these were about 170-ish. These were in the 300s. These were back low. So it just kind of gives you an idea. So then the other thing you're going to do is you'll go in just like that, just like I just said, and you'll add equations for all of these. So that's another thing you're going to do. See, if you click on them now, you see they're just numbers. You're going to put the equation in. And then the last calculation that you're going to do is you're going to add this average right here. And what that is that's the average for all the SG parts. So you guessed it, you're going to come in, and this right here is going to be the average of all those guys right there. This one is going to be the average of all those. That one is going to be the average of all those. Now, in the first video, it showed you how to insert functions, how to come in, use this guy, and say more functions, find the average, find all the things you want like that. So you should know how to do that. The other thing you're going to want to do is take this and format it to look like this. So you're going to want to notice that your numbers have a bunch of decimal spots. Over here, I've only got 2 decimal places, and right here I only have 1. So you're going to want to use the format cell we talked about, and you can get to it a couple ways. Remember, you can highlight things or just one individual cell. You can go up here, and sometimes on mine, format cell isn't there. I don't know why. Or you can right-click on a cell, say format cells, and you get to this. Remember, you've got all the options down through there. So you want to do that formatting, as well as add the lines. See, there's a dotted line there. Right here, the lines got taken out. So how did I do that? I just highlighted all that. I right-clicked, format cells. I came to border, and then I took the middle line out. So I'm going to click that twice. And then now all those lines are out. And then also highlighting those so they're different colors. Okay, so you're going to take this, add the equations, and add the formatting to make it look like this. Okay, good luck. If you have trouble, you can email me your file, and I'll help you any way I can.